I'm pretty sure that everyone
Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2.
even though they might.
We in here. We in here. Yes, sir. We here. It is Just Our Opinion podcast. Broadcasting live and direct out of the good state of Tennessee. By the way, Chattanooga, Chat Town. In Chattanooga. Right along with my brother and partner in crime, Dark Prince in his house. Salute, bro. What's going on?
Salute, bro. Salute, fam. Let's get into it.
Yeah, bro. At first I thought you wasn't gonna make it. I said, "Oh shit."
Well, I did.
Because I know you've been doing your thing and stuff at the job, at the workplace. You know what I'm saying? So.
No, let's say I'm gonna better get on there. Like I was just yesterday we had laundry going on that way, but everything's been all in all. Like I said, we got to get this in though, because the people gotta know. But yeah,
already. Okay, I ain't even put my shit out here. I just so ecstatic to the new setup that I did early. I've been working on today with the with the time lapse of the clouds and the thunderstorm in the background. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Please like and share and subscribe to my channel at DJ Chaos the Mix Master. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to be a part of the team and you got some things you want to promote, hit me up at chaoticdjsmusic@gmail.com. And you can follow me on Facebook, under Maurice V. King Sr. or Halo Jones, either one. And bring it right to me and right to this podcast as well. And if you got a Twitch account, Twitch TV at DJ Chaos _47. All right, bro. I got some crazy things I need to say right quick. Kind of trick me out. I mean, like I say, we get to the point where I wanted to try to figure out why is Black people celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Do you know?
Why they celebrate any holiday they got here in America?
Well, I seen a video not too long ago before I started the podcast, and it was two guys that was basically giving their own opinions basically on St. Patrick's Day, saying one guy said he don't see why we do that because that has nothing to do with Black people. The other one is a Black Israelite, and he said it does. I got a video.
I want to hear what was okay. Yeah, go in there because I want to hear both sides of this.
I'm finna pull the video up. And I want you to hear one of the guys say one. Let's see if I can find that. There you go. One guy said no, the other one says yes. Said that St. Patrick was a Black man.
Okay, keep going. What's else shaking?
Well, here's the one I think is the one dude said that it had nothing to do with us. I'm trying to pull that up. Hopefully I can get it pulled up. And then I'm gonna pull the other one up with the what's the name? Hebrew Israelite. You know what I'm saying? Under fair use, we're gonna use the brother's content. I'm sure he don't mind. Because it's a learning situation. Well, here we go.
It's your boy Doggy Diamonds. Doggy Diamonds TV is the YouTube. DoggyDiamondsTV.com is the official website. Make sure you log on there. I also make sure you subscribe. I just want to know why the fuck are Black people talking about Happy St. Patrick's Day? Do y'all know who St. Patrick is? Why are y'all saying Happy St. Patrick's Day? Are you from Ireland? Are you Irish? And I hope you're not saying you Irish because you celebrating the slave master blood. I hope you're not doing that. Do you know that St. Patrick wasn't even Irish? He's not even from Ireland. Did you know that? Did you know that the color green has nothing to do with St. Patrick or Ireland? Did you know that there's no such thing as a four-leaf clover or a leprechaun? If you using this day to just get fucked up and get drunk and you fronting, I guess. But why, as black people, do we always celebrate everything that has nothing to do with us, and then the things that have things to do with us, that's created for us by us, we shy away from it? Oh, I'm not fucking with that African shit. But you'll fuck with some Irish shit that ain't even from Ireland. St. Patrick was from Great Britain. He took refuge in Ireland. Learn the history, learn the story. I'm not going to give it all to you here. Y'all got to start doing your research and stop attaching yourself to things that have nothing to do with us. But you don't know when Black Solidarity Day is. You don't know when Kwanzaa is. You don't even know the day Malcolm X was born. You don't even know if it's not a national holiday given to us by them folks. We know nothing about it. We don't know when is Juneteenth. These are things that you need to know about us and our history, so you can start giving your children some type of esteem, make them proud to be who they are, because they're never going to be Irish. They're never going to be accepted in Ireland. They're never going to get a Blarney Stone. There's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Stop giving your children fairy tales and give them the reality. Make them proud of who they are. That's all I got to say. Doggy Diamonds for Doggy Diamonds TV. Peace. Thanks to everybody who subscribed.
So what you think, bro?
I agree with the part. We ain't had nothing to do with these type of pagan holidays and religions anyway. But I also understand on the standpoint that the pygmies that were in Ireland got exterminated. They weren't that tall. But the native people of that land were exterminated out of that land. The leprechaun is just a kick in the face to these people that they exterminated. But they were, you know what I'm saying, a melanated hue. But they were just pygmies, short, stocky, you know what I'm saying, dark skin, you know what I'm saying. But they were a little short, like 3 feet. Some of them were like maybe tall as 4 foot. But they murdered all them folks. The British folks did. And Ireland, you know what I'm saying, they took over there as a colony. And the thing is, the leprechaun is a playback at the short statured original inhabitants of the land. All this Lucky Charm gold and stuff, that was just the resources that they had. That was their way of showing what we took from it. That's what they had. That's what made them, you know what I'm saying, a viable country, because they had this type of resource, crop resource. Well, I mean, you know.
Well, I'm trying to pull up the Black Israelite Brothers video because he says differently. Let's see. Hold on. I'm trying to get his video going now and let you hear what he said. It load up.
All right.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, like I say, it's a learning situation. It's a learning situation for all of us. I'm just curious. I say I get to the point where I really want to know certain things because, I mean, I don't want to be sitting around there trying to make myself look like I know everything and you know, and try to get an understanding on what stuff. Because the thing is, when I was young, man, they say you don't wear green, you got pinched and all that shit, and that consists of a fucking fight down there. Okay, here we go.
Will have, according to Revelation chapter 1, verses 14 and 15. We as the Israelites must keep the commandments in the faith of Christ to receive salvation. As it is in Revelation chapter 14, verse 1. I've challenged and debated Christian authorities all over the world on these issues. Not been able to negate this truth. Your pastors have led you astray, worshiping pagan holidays and false gods, just as in the days of old. So join us on our mission to restore the true nation of Israel before the decree goes forth. The work is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Visit our website at israelunite.org or call us at 855-484-4842 to learn more and visit our schools. Shalom.
y'all black people are in the streets, you are in the parade in Manhattan celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Well, okay. Jeremiah chapter 10. Let's see what the Bible says about St. Patrick's Day. Black man, black woman, the Bible tells you as an Israelite, don't learn the way of the heathen. So what's the point of that scripture? It says, learn not the way of the heathen. So why are you going to a St. Patrick's Day parade? Why are you putting a green hat on your head, chasing the gingerbread girl? For what? That's you getting accustomed to the ways of America. That's you assimilating. St. Patrick was a black man. Yes, I know you got upset. You're upset now. You're mad. You Irish watching the video are upset. St. Patrick was an Israelite. He was a black man. Remember, St. Patrick was from Britain, under Roman Britain, in the late 4th century. Who was there during that time period? Black people. Remember, 193 AD, Rome fell by a man named Septimius Severus. He was a black man. From 193 and on, black people were ruling over Europe. Now, you could go into the history and show black people are already in there, but the point is to show proof that Israelites, we were all throughout Europe after 193 AD. Now, get Job 9:24. Let's read that. The Bible says the earth is given into the hands. Who's the wicked? The wicked is the white man. America is ruling the earth right now. One word for that verse, iconoclasm. What is that? The destruction of Christian art. You watch the news, you watch articles, you watch the videos, you watch Shout Out Tuesday. Bishop and the deacons have been showing the history on what? The destruction of our art. All those icons, those were black people. Whenever you see those books, for example, some names you'll see Saint Boris, Saint Gleb. Even though these men were in Russia, those were Israelites. That's why it says saint. Remember, according to the scriptures, the saints are the Israelites. So that's how we were identified. How you knew it was Israel. They will call us the saints. Sometimes they will call us the Christians.
This is going to get deep.
So the white man covered the faces of the judges thereof. Gleb, one word for that verse, iconoclasm. What is that? The destruction of Christian art. You watch the news, you watch articles, you watch the videos, you watch Shout Out Tuesday. Bishop and the deacons have been showing the history on what? The destruction of our art. All those icons, those were black people. Whenever you see those books, for example, some names you'll see Saint Boris, Saint Gleb. Even though these men were in Russia, those were Israelites. That's why it says saint. Remember, according to the scriptures, the saints are the Israelites. So that's how we were identified, how you knew it was Israel. They called us the saints. Sometimes they would call us the Christians. So the white man covered the faces of the judges thereof. Why? Because the white man wants to make you believe that he was Jews, that he were the Israelites, that he was the original people that were in Russia, that was throughout Europe, that he ruled during the Dark Ages. No, that's a lie. That's all a lie. The Bible lets us know he covers the faces of the judges thereof. We're dealing with St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick was a black man. So all you Edomites, you Caucasians running throughout the streets, you think you're celebrating and you're honoring the memory of this great Irish man? No, St. Patrick was an Israelite. He was an Israelite. He was a black man. So the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. So during the time of the Greeks, they did it. And guess what? Now that we are unreleasing the books, we are seeing that, guess what? While we were in slavery, oh, well, hey, you know what? It started 1453. The Renaissance, they whitewashed our images. So all you Irish people, when you watch this video, all you Edomites, whoever watches this video, we just want you to know. The Israelites, we know the history. We showed out the Bible. We want you to know you're honoring a black man. St. Patrick was a black man. That's what the white man wants to do. That's why he paints over history. The white man wants everybody to worship him. So you thought, you're Irish, you thought that this man, St. Patrick, that spread the gospel of Christianity throughout Ireland, you thought he was Caucasian, but in fact, he's black. Out of the book, Nature Knows No Color Line, black people were in Roman Britain during the time of St. Patrick. When you examine history, the saints are always black. I'm going to show you one more. I got a nugget for you. Look at this. Art Treasures of Russia. Okay.
Do I need to go further? Or do I need to stop right there? Because I really don't want to take up too much time with that. Because the only thing I want to do is I was just wondering about this whole fiasco on St. Patrick's Day, because you hear two sides of the story.
I'm gonna simplify it like this: we shouldn't be doing anything as far as these holidays. One, we wasn't doing them before we got here to this nation. Two, each time there's a holiday going on, you got to go to the store and buy something. So it ain't a win-win for you. It's just a capitalist economy telling you need you to go to the store and spend money.
Exactly. Because I read something
year round. That's what
I read something
is for.
Bro, I read something in on Google. I Googled St. Patrick's Day. I Googled the meaning and everything. It specifies paganism.
That's the thing about it. When you check out every holiday that they got going on, those are pagan holidays. Now, when it really starts getting deep into you and you start going into the days of the week, the names of the months, the names of the planets, you'll find out a whole other stuff too. That's pagan. But hey, we'll start right here. Y'all go ahead.
Because like I say, I mean, folks, y'all can do what you want. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to get in deals with none of this shit, because I already know that I know the deal. I know that it's more of a capitalistic complex than it is anything else spiritually. Because it really, like I say, regardless of how you paint it, you can say he was black, because there was some shit that it was a video that I would show on this podcast. I'm thinking I'm playing heads and tails, but I know it's gonna rattle some bones with a lot of motherfuckers that we know and a lot of motherfuckers that I don't know.
I say it like this: it really don't matter if you're black, white, yellow, what's called. We don't do any holidays because it don't belong to us. And number two, it's gonna have you going to the store to spend money. I'm gonna say it again.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, you know, I mean, when I was in school, being in grade school, in elementary, and the teachers used to tell us, make sure y'all wear y'all green tomorrow because it's St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah,
and
I mean, indoctrinated coming up through the, you know what I'm saying, the elementary years, maybe, you know what I'm saying, in the junior high, sometime maybe even high school, you know what I'm saying? But that's the thing about when you don't know about who you are, where you come from, what you're supposed to be doing. This is why we join every damn thing, because we're looking for acceptance and say, I want to belong to something, because you don't know what you belong to.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know what the fuck you are. You don't know your values. You don't know your mores, your fork-raised. You don't know shit. All you doing is going off what somebody tell you what's best for you. And that's why your society look like dog shit.
I'm bold enough to say this. If our people knew who we were, we have no gangs. We wouldn't have no fraternities. We wouldn't have no sororities. We wouldn't have no cliques, no teams, no nothing. We'll be a nation.
Exactly. Because, bruh, that's what I was going to get into. It's a video that a sister made on YouTube, and God be pleased with her. She talked about this whole secret society that a lot of us pledge in, that we have no idea on what we're doing.
That's just like the St. Patrick's Day. That's the same thing. You're putting on something you know nothing about. It's somebody else's culture. It makes you look like a fool when you dress up and it's not your culture. Just like when we see okay, I'm glad we talking about it. Ladies, if you're out there listening right now, same thing is when you see the white girl trying to wear cornrows, that's not her culture. She looks out of pocket, out of whack. She stuck out.
Hell yeah.
Same thing.
You know, bro, I can pull up a picture right now of Bo Degra Bo Derek from back in the 70s. She was the first white woman of our time to wear cornrows. And we did not like it. Our generation didn't like it. And the generation before then didn't like it because they thought that was the stupidest shit ever. They were like, you know what, these Caucasians done gone ballistically crazy. They don't even look right.
It don't look like because it's not.
But
They
she made it look like it was all that. But the Caucasian folks was like, I ain't finna put that shit on my head because they don't want to think they still look like she was looking.
But that's the thing about it. You had some white women, some white men that loved our culture so much that they want to assimilate into it and want to, do the things we did. Can't help that. The whole planet does that behind us, people. The whole planet does. That's what I'm saying. We trendsetter. That's why you should know that we've been under a curse because the thing is we backwards, the worst of the planet, but yet the entire planet follows what we do. That's power, and we don't even know it. But it's not power that we control. See, that's why the rest of everybody around us wants to control us because do you see what this is all about? Holiday shopping. We need to control your dollars. We need to control your mind. We need to control your household. We need to control your man. We need to control your woman. We need to control your kids. We need to control everything about you. Because when it gets unified amongst itself, it's back to the beginning. And that means we back to the tail. So when you get caught up and still practicing in these same traditions and customs that don't have a damn thing to do with us, you prolonging them getting the money from us. How long y'all want to be broke? Let's just ask that question.
Right. Well, I had to get that off my chest.
You glad to get it off too? I'm about to roll up enough. Go ahead.
Yeah, because we're going to go ahead and get into the real topic tonight. That was just a little news breaking.
Little taste.
You know what I'm saying? To where I was just kind of confused, well, not confused, but was wondering why we wearing shit and doing shit that doesn't really consist of us. Well, that was just
do it.
It was just like it was just a fucking news reel.
The thing I've been talking to you speaking on it early, saying coming up through school, don't forget to wear your green shirt. They was indoctrinating us then. So as we got older, St. Patrick's Day, we already know you're throwing your green shirt. And it was sometimes the day that you did, you wasn't even really thinking about planning on doing it. You just remember green shirt, St. Patrick's Day. And you didn't think much of it. Went on out, but you don't understand. You're flagging for a custom and a culture that ain't even yours.
All right. Well, let's get off of that goof ass shit. And
now they're gonna be back on the 4th. They're gonna be back on the 4th with their flags and shirts on and dresses and all that. You watch. I hope y'all surprised me. I really do.
Anyway, let's move on to the real topic of the night. And the real topic of the night is our culture, our music, part 10. The Cash Money Records story.
Bling, bling.
Hell yeah. Yes, sir. And I know if you don't know who Cash Money Records is, you will soon find out. Oh, Cuzzo then came on inside. He said, Patrick's Day, St. Patrick's Day is about people getting drunk.
That's every holiday we can get in. It's a party.
Hell yeah.
It don't matter.
Christmas.
If we got the day off, we got a little cash money on the pocket. We're going to get to the liquor store. We're going to hit up and then we're going to get it. And then we're going to have a good time.
Yeah, because I was told that Christmas and Thanksgiving, well, they say Christmas is the real big part of the drinking persona of holidays.
But they see, that's a package deal. Mm-hmm. Y'all haven't figured out that's a package deal. See, the reason why the months are set up the way they is and it's out of whack is because they got it set up economically here for you. Because once you get done with your Thanksgiving shopping, all right, now you're going to come on back Christmas, which is December. Now we're going to get you Christmas Eve. We're going to get you Christmas Day. Then we're going to get you Cyber Monday. Now we done with you right then. We're gonna start this thing over, get you already into the habit of giving us this money again, going into the new year. Now we're gonna get you ready for New Year's Eve. Now we're gonna give you New Year's Day.
Mhm.
Now, once your high comes down after that, next month, February, guess what? Now you got to get your girl or your man something. Come on down, get these chocolates and these flowers, which is gonna die within a day or two at the spot. And wrappers all in the trash can. Teddy bears gonna be probably thrown away too.
Mm-hmm.
But then we ain't done. See,
Yeah. But anyway,
we're gonna give you what you need. Go ahead.
yeah. But like I said, getting back to the topic at hand, our coach, our music, part 10, the Cash Money Records. Well, you know, we had last week we did Master P. No Limit. This is their rival company out of New Orleans as well, called Cash Money Records.
Taking over for the 9-9.
And the head man in charge at the time, you know, current anyway, is this guy right here. Baby.
Sweet baby.
Birdman. Don't start, bro.
All right.
I ain't gonna lie. Every
All
time
right,
I
go
look at
stick to the music. We speaking to the music.
we gonna leave it alone, cause
Yeah.
I already know the deal. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Birdman was the head honcho of the place. And then, you know, his stepson or whatever, Lil Wayne. Yeah, Lil Wayne.
He don't look nothing like now.
Yeah, no, Lil Wayne. We'll get into that in a little bit. And the homie BG.
B-Jizzle.
Bling, bling. And of course, Juvie. And then
See it there. Juvie.
And then you had
Turk.
And they was known as the Hot Boys.
Hot Boys.
We on fire.
Hot Boys. Hot Boys.
You know, I'm not gonna put a whole lot of those guys up on the screen because it was more than them that was on Cash Money. It was a whole lot of them because you had UNLV. You had a lot of guys. I mean, even Slim, even Soldier Slim made his way over to Cash Money before, you know what I'm saying, it went down like it did, but with his life. But anyway, though, you know, Master P had No Limit, like I say, and Birdman had Cash Money. You know, at the time when I first heard about Cash Money in 98, 99, I was in California. And at that time, everybody was trying to figure out who was the baddest coming out of the Deep South as far as No Limit and Cash Money.
I want to hear this.
In California, believe it or not, Cash Money was blowing up the spot in California than No Limit was. And you would have thought, wait a minute, wasn't Snoop Dogg on No Limit? That don't mean nothing. Because
I heard a situation where the ice cream man that P had popularized and put out, he actually grabbed that from somebody out of the Bay and ran with it. And they were trying to get back at him. So me understanding that side of things, you know what I'm saying, might also, because that's going to spread like wildfire, you know what I'm saying, because it's hot in the whole country listening to it. You know what I'm saying? And it's a single. And then the thing about if an original person hear about it, just like the homies from right here in the SIP heard about their Bone Crusher song being Puff Daddy remix and being a drop in the single, we're going to feel different about it. So if somebody else comes out that's repping the same, yeah, by that right alone, we're gonna roll with them. We're going to roll with them, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know how it was out there. I'm just speaking from a standpoint of how I see it from my perception. Understanding, you know, some of the pieces that you have in this situational thing of giving you information from both sides. So you be like, well, I can see how that go down. Now, I'm just want to know from you, from being out that way, was it more of It might have been some of that, or it was just the music solely. They was like, we rocking with that.
Well, 1999, Juvenile dropped his album. What the hell was that name of that? I gotta look it up. I know some degree, 300 degrees or 300 degrees.
500 degrees.
500 degrees, yeah, 500 degrees. I know it was something like that. It was some degree,
Yeah.
some heat with it, because it had some flames on the damn on front of the CD. I know how the CD looked. Matter of fact, I can pull the CD up. But he dropped his album the same time when BG dropped his album. Blink with the song "Bling Bling" on there.
They got that from No Limit. Them. They got that.
Huh?
I said, pardon my interruption on that, my bad. But I was saying they had got that. They got that push to the artist from No Limit. All right, what you call dropping? We're gonna drop you right behind him. You getting it because you in line behind him. Because the thing that they see right now, from a Southern standpoint, ain't nobody on me. One of us that got on, and the whole country is listening right now. So ain't no need, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, you're gonna wait, man. You know what I'm saying? The homie hot right now. We're gonna let him just rock out right now. Man, we got fire too. Man, we know that, man. Don't you remember this? Yeah, I know about all that, man, but he hot, man. They know about him right now. That's what I'm saying. And you like, no, don't do that. Because the thing is, this is what we call flavor, baby. This is what we call seasoning. There might be something off in the butt that the homies, yeah, we like them, but then in particular, I'm like, wait, who is that? We know that to be true because out of all the clicks, certain people stick out in the group that you're like, that's my man right there. Or that's my female right there.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, now DT right here just made a point saying that Juvie said he was the best to me, to be honest, right? I remember they were doing back in the day, you know what I'm saying, when everybody was dropping, you had to get the behind the scenes disc that they dropped out there, them coming up. So you have to understand it because this is hip hop, baby. So we get our knowledge on around with it too. So when we tell a story, we know what it was. So Juvie was in there talking to me like it was Turk, it was Weezy, BG was sitting over in the corner. I think Birdman and Slim was over there in the corner too. And Juvie said he told me like, hey, when the beat drop, you best to come with your best shit because I'm coming to kill y'all. And that's how it got to be. That's how it's got to be. You can't play with you. If you have emotion in you and you feel a certain way from certain time, where you're pissed off, angry, upset, hurt, in mourning, those are not fake feelings. Those are real. So when you putting down lyrics on something, it's got to be the same thing. Real emotion about whatever you talking about.
Yeah. And see, you know, but like I was saying though earlier, when those two that song "Back That Ass Up" that was on that album, 500 Degrees, radio station out in LA, 92.3 The Beat. Shout out to DJ Paradise, you know what I'm saying, out there. But he blew that song the fuck up. I'm talking about everybody car was bumping "Back That Ass Up." I'm not talking about down south. Down south, it was already locked. But when I got to the West Coast, I was thinking Master P was gonna be the shit out there because of Snoop Dogg. But I was wrong. It was Cash Money. Everybody was hollering about Cash Money out in South Central Inglewood, Watts, Compton, all over was bumping Juvenile's 500 Degrees.
Taking over the 9-9.
That song "Back That Ass Up" and that other song that you know, that little chant, nah, you know what I'm saying, was a hot track out there on the West Coast.
Now let me tell you something. I got to slide in right here because at this time, people, I'm not even in the US. I'm in the Far East. I just put it out there, you know what I'm saying, just in case the people want to like, well, where you going to? You just going to have to do your research, people, on the alphabet, folks. But anyway, I'm in the Far East. And I'm on base. Now, we just had one of the homies fly back to the States to go home. He was from Georgia. This is 99. At this time frame, the St. Louis Rams, you know what I'm saying, they were one of the worst teams in football, but for some reason this year, Isaac Bruce and they cutting up. And so we watching the TV about the Rams trying to
Bro,
kick
I said 500 degrees, 400. It's 400.
400. I'm gonna give him $100 because I think it was another, but I can't remember which one I'm done. We ain't gonna worry about that anyway. But anyway, check it. So we watching the Rams do their thing. Now homie gets back that day from being in the States. This is back home. He's like, man, he said, I got some new music from the state. Everybody like, oh yeah, what you got? He puts on the Juvenile, back that ass up. So I'm listening to it, and I'm hearing the New Orleans, you know what I'm saying, dialect, you know what I'm saying, in the voice. And I'm thinking from a Southern standpoint, everybody in the States listening to it. He like, yeah, everybody banging it, man, everybody banging it. And for me, from a Southern person, from being from the South, that made me feel pretty good though, because it's like finally, from the standpoint from the Source Awards, when it was just two coasts rolling, we had to stand up and say we had something to say. After saying that, now I'm hearing the next thing is the whole nation is like, yeah. It was a proud moment for me, just for understanding that's how things was in the South. And so just to hear that the West Coast was really banging it like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that just puts, you know what I'm saying, the icing on the cake.
Bro, like I say, it surprised the hell out of me because when I got out there, you know, of course, they was playing the East Coast music. They started back playing East Coast music because Big Pun was still alive a little bit at the time. Well, was he still alive? I think he was still alive. And he had this song, Still a Flare, that just dropped out there that same year, 99. And they were bumping that a lot on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest goddamn request of all time was Back That Ass Up. I'm talking about you heard that shit in everybody's car, or you heard it on the block somewhere, somebody's house, in the store, the mall, the gas station, it was playing.
Mm.
And when I heard that song, I said, you know what? That song right there is going to be one of those songs that as soon as you play it, folks going to be ready to dance. It's just like, it was just like when Rob Vase came out with It Takes Two.
Hit it.
It was just right. That energy was there. And even when, even like going far way up to the 80s, the early 80s with Planet Rock, you heard that, you was ready. You know what I'm saying? Dougie Fresh, the show song, 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, your own.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the thing is, our culture, our music, it raised the bar for every life form on this planet. Because everybody sees what we're doing, they love it, and they want to be a part of it. They want to do it. They want to call themselves doing their own version of it in their culture. That's how powerful our shit is. And then, not to mention, BG come right behind them with Bling Bling. And I didn't know which song was probably the most. Then I found out it was Juvenile. That damn Back That Ass Up. But that Bling Bling was right on his tail though.
Mm-hmm.
Because the South the South been having good music. I think the West Coast is universe with music. The East Coast acts like they're better than anybody. Yeah, of course. They
the birthplace. That's why they arrogant like that.
Yeah. Because the thing is, folks will say, they was dissing the East Coast dissing the West Coast dissing the the East Coast dissing the West Coast dissing the East Coast. But here's the thing. It was more East Coast versus East Coast than anything. But the media didn't want to talk about it because that wasn't a good story back in the days. But East Coast was basically battling against each other. Because you had what they call the five boroughs. You had the Bronx, you had Brooklyn, you had Queens, and you had Long Island.
Staten Island,
Staten Island, Long Island, and Harlem.
Harlem.
Now, out of all them cities, okay, the most highly influential hip hop cities of that time was Queens and Brooklyn. And the Bronx, no, Queens and Bronx. I'm sorry, Queens and the Bronx. Because out of the Bronx, you had DJ Kool Herc, who started the hip hop scene with the DJing. Was all over there? Or what was that? I don't want to get the street wrong. I'm just gonna say Sedgwick Avenue.
All right.
The birthplace of hip hop. Because in that particular time, he was hosting those parties, and he was playing music. And he did the way he played music at that time is how I play my music now. But then it was a new culture because he played music for what they call the B-boys, the one that were breakdancing, pop locking. He took the song that had music and he'll find a break in it and take the music out and just let the music play without the damn music, without the take the songs play without the music, without the lyrics.
I like the break.
Dancing. And that was the birthplace for hip hop. Now, on the other side of town was Queens. Queens was doing their little shit, but it was like, we don't know the fuck y'all doing over there. They say they don't know the fuck y'all doing over here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a confusion. Because that's why KRS-One and MC Shan got into it. Because MC Shan said hip hop started out on the park or some shit like that in Queens. KRS-One said, "No, you a motherfucking lie. South Bronx where hip hop started."
No.
And you know, according to the hip hop scholars of New York, they say shit, it started right there in South Bronx. So KRS was telling the truth. MC Shan said, "No, that's bullshit. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. It started where we come from." You know what I'm saying? So they were beefing with each other because MC Shan had the song called Queen what's it called? Bridge. That's the name of the song. The Bridge. And then KRS-One come behind him with South Bronx.
South Bronx. South Bronx. Yeah, I remember.
And then MC Shan came out with another song called Kill That Noise.
I remember talking about that.
And then KRS-One came out with the song The Bridge Is Over. So it was a back and forth. Yeah. So it was East Coast. But the media don't want to talk about that. They wanted to try to make it like it was, with Tupac and Biggie. And even Tupac said before he died, he said, "Well, it's not about East Coast or West Coast. You already know the game on that song on this album. What's the name of that album?
Illuminati, 7 Day Theory.
Yeah, 7 Day Theory. Yeah, he said it's not about that. He just says it's about money, bitches, or whatever, and riders and funks. Which side you on? You know what I'm saying?
Talking, breathing.
You know what I'm saying? The media took it there. He said milk is chilling. Yeah, that was Audio 2. Yeah, I think Audio 2 is someone related to MC Light, if I ain't mistaken. I think that's her brother in real life. But anyway, back to the Dirty South. Yeah. But even in 95, like Rel was talking about, the Source Awards in 95, Brooklyn was in the house, and they was all about holding down Biggie. Everything that wasn't in Brooklyn was considered, or New York completely was considered bullshit. So they shitted on Andre 3000, Andre and Big Boy when they came down. They came up to to New York to receive their award for their album, Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music.
They should have got that.
And they got this shit booed out of them.
Yeah.
And Andre got in his feelings because he was like, you know, the South got something to say. He wanted to say fuck all y'all, but he knew it was too far away from home for that. But at the same time, yeah. But see, Andre didn't realize at the time that they wasn't the only one that got booed out from the Dirty South. Willie D, Scarface, and Bushwick Bill got booed out of Harlem at the Showtime Follow. Not Showtime Follow, but you know, at the Showtime Follow Theater. They were performing there and got booed. Cause they're like, who the fuck is these niggas with their old country ass accent? Get them the fuck out of here.
That was my whole thing about it. So understand that when I left the States, that's the way hip hop was at the time. And while I'm away to find out, you know what I'm saying, it's been embraced. I enjoyed that. We've always had something to say. Timing was right. And then the time came, you know what I'm saying, where that's what I liked about it, you know what I'm saying. The gift of hip hop, it went east. It started east, moved along west, went Midwest, came down south. Next thing I know, I'm hearing folks down up in Cuba doing their thing, Jamaica doing some things. Then Great Britain, they start popping off. So I mean, the way it's grown, if Sam Goody was still putting out CDs, it'd be very hard to keep up with all the artists that's been dropping.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard. Because I ain't even heard that folks is across, you know what I'm saying, in England and the rest of the place that's been dropping CDs. I couldn't even tell you no artists over that way. But from what I'm hearing now, the artists that they do have now, that's all about the drill rapping, nah. I don't want that. I want the ones that was probably, you know what I'm saying, listening when we were coming up listening. And they was like, yeah. Because the ones that was listening when we was coming up doing it, them the ones that had kids, them the kids that's now that's out there, you know what I'm saying, dropping the album, but it's trash to me if you ask them. But hey, that's what happened. I'm going to yield back.
Yeah. Well, see, like I was saying earlier, Ghetto Boys, Willie D, according to Willie D, he said the Ghetto Boys had got the shit booed out of them being in New York in the early part of the 90s, maybe in 89, 90, something around nothing there. And said, because that's when they had the song Gangsta Love and all that shit was out, but they didn't really but when they did Mind Playing Tricks on Me and they recorded the video and everything like that, they went back to New York, they got mad love then. Mad love. So
you know what?
It was like the whole genre of the South was starting to really come about. But they was like, you know, okay, we're gonna let these niggas get a pass, but anything else that come out of the South,
I see it like this. You know what I'm saying? Great point that you made up. But when I'm looking back on things on it, and the way I see it was that New York, when hip hop was formed, music was born in the South, but hip hop was formed in fashion in the East. Now, when that happened, and it got the attention of everybody, and it was something that this is ours and ours alone, and it came out, it was a wave. So New York right now is in their mind frame of thinking, who's gonna run this and be the king of all this?
right?
And it's a New York thing right now. Even though everybody's listening to it, we can say this is a New York thing. So pride swells on that. So now you got everybody in New York, you know what I'm saying, in all 5 boroughs, they fighting for the 5 mics. I wish they'll bring that back. But anyway, West Coast pops up. I think the East, after, you know what I'm saying, looking at each other doing this, like, man, we ain't ready for that right now, and we don't want no type of contenders at the moment. And so now the South also getting on stage talking about, we want to say, man, we don't want to hear none of that. It's ours right now, and we don't want to share the platform at the moment. That's just how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I feel about it. They didn't want to share the platform at the time frame. But the West, you know what I'm saying, deboed their way on in there. So they can't stop that. So when the South got on, you know what I'm saying, we ain't into all that, you know what I'm saying, we just got something to say. Ooh. And the thing was, they were blowing off, you know what I'm saying, no, we ain't even trying to hear it right now, even though you probably will be good later, which we is. Mm-hmm. And everybody talks about anybody from South like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it, they had to get to a point where, you know what I'm saying, okay, got to accept it. And the way it was, because it just kept moving from region to region. That's what made it, that's what makes it music. It's a spirit that wasn't staying one place.
That's right. You
can't hold it. And it gravitated amongst our people in all the regions, in the 4 regions. East, West, North, South. So back down to the Cash Money, my bad. Go ahead, dog.
No, I was trying to figure out, because I'm finna show a video, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm using to block that video out. Because they got a documentary. I seen the documentary back here about a year ago, and it's a really good documentary. I think this is one with, I know what to do. I'm just gonna use our picture, but it's the one DJ Manny Fresh was talking about how he did his music and stuff with Cash Money. We're gonna block out. You're gonna have audio for
that. Okay, go ahead.
Here you go.
Woo.
The barbershop. Baby was impressed. He took Doogie home and had a talk with his mother, Cynthia. Just like everyone else in the city, Cynthia heard about the Williams brothers. Although they were well-known drug dealers, Cynthia understood that they were doing something positive with Cash Money Records. She decided to let her son work with the independent label. This is when Doogie became a part of the Cash Money family. Cash Money Records was started in 1991 by Brian Baby Williams and his older brother Ronald Sugar Slim Williams. The two were allegedly big-time drug dealers at the time. Their father, Johnny Williams, was a very wealthy man. He owned a bar, a grocery store, a food truck, and he was a landlord who rented out several properties. Johnny was also a loan shark, number runner, and gambler on the side. Altogether, Johnny had 23 kids with several different women. Baby and Slim's mother, Gladys Brooks, ran a bar for Johnny on Saratoga Street in the early 70s. The family lived on top of the bar in a 2-bedroom apartment. Johnny named the place Gladys Bar. It quickly became a popular spot in uptown of New Orleans. On January 21, 1975, Gladys died at age 30. Later, the kids were taken by the state of Louisiana. After spending time in foster homes and in Canada with their uncle, Baby and his siblings moved back in the apartment upstairs of Gladys Bar with their father Johnny after he had regained custody. Johnny was now in a serious relationship with a woman by the name of Patricia. Patricia already had 3 kids of her own. Her and Johnny would later get married. Patricia and her 3 kids moved in with Johnny and 3 of his kids. Her son Eldrick was Baby's age. The two instantly became close. Back then, Saratoga Street was a dangerous place to hang out. The fun never ended for Baby and Eldrick. After playing in the neighborhood all day, the two always came home to more action. Gladys Bar was a 24-hour spot. The bar attracted drug dealers, gamblers, prostitutes, junkies, and many alcoholics in the neighborhood. One night after attending a wrestling event, Johnny, Patricia, and the kids returned home. After putting the kids to bed, Johnny was shot downstairs in the bar during a robbery attempt. It was time for a change. Johnny moved him and his family into a nice home on Valence and Magnolia. Baby and his stepbrother Eldrick continued running the streets. By the mid-80s, they were dealing heroin and sticking up local drug dealers. Eldrick was known to be wild in the streets. Baby was the level-headed one out of the two. He learned a lot from watching Johnny. While Baby and Eldrick ran the streets, Slim stayed under Johnny. At the time, Slim had his own circle of friends. He didn't hang out with his younger brothers much. Baby and Eldrick were making hundreds, thousands of dollars dealing drugs in the streets. According to Baby, he had over $1 million at the age 15. Not only did Baby sell heroin, he sold pot, cocaine, and crack as well. He flooded multiple neighborhoods with drugs. Baby had family in every neighborhood in uptown New Orleans. He was known and respected throughout the city. Even though Baby and his crew were making a lot of money in the streets, they still attended school. In the 10th grade, Baby owned 10 vehicles. While other students carried backpacks, he carried a briefcase. Baby took school serious and was even good at sports. Before dealing drugs, Baby had dreams to play football in the NFL. He dropped out his senior year when the school didn't let him play on the football team due to his grades. Slim, on the other hand, had dropped out in the 7th grade.
Damn. That's a whip.
In 1988, Baby and Eldrick gets arrested together twice in 1 week on drug-related charges. They end up serving almost 2 years in prison. When they were released in 1990, the two jumped right back in the streets. This time they were even making more money. Unfortunately, Eldrick was shot and killed in the summer of '91. Losing Eldrick was tough for the family. Baby didn't want to lose his life in the streets like his stepbrother. Him and Slim decided to start an independent record label. Inspired by the 1991 film New Jack City, Baby and Slim named the label Cash Money Records. The first artist they signed was 15-year-old Kilo G. In 1992, they released Kilo G's debut album Sleepwalker. The album only sold a few thousand copies, but it opened the door for Cash Money Records. The Williams brothers then signed Lil Slim, UNLV, Mr. Ivan, Project's Most Wanted, Miss T and Pimp Daddy to the label. Cash Money Records was becoming the biggest independent record label in Louisiana. The 13-year-old Lil Doogie was happy to be a part of the Cash Money family. He began living with both Baby and Slim. They became father figures in his life. Doogie had more fun living with Baby than he did living with.
Now, Doobie is BG. That was his little nickname they called him back then.
Slim. Slim didn't party every night like his brother. He kept his home calm and peaceful. There was always action at Baby's house, so Doogie spent more time there. Him and Baby became very close. It wouldn't be long before Doogie began looking at Baby as a father. In 1993, Cash Money Records took over the underground music scene in New Orleans. Baby met producer DJ Manny Fresh at a block party in the Calio Projects. That same year, Manny Fresh became Cash Money Records' in-house producer. Manny Fresh grew up in the 7th Ward of New Orleans. His father, DJ Savvy, was a well-known DJ in the city. He played at block parties, cookouts, and nightclubs. Manny was inspired by his father to be a DJ. In 1984, Manny Fresh became a DJ for New Orleans hip-hop crew New York Incorporated. Manny learned how to use an 808 drum machine and became one of the founders of bounce music in the late 80s. He teamed up with a New Orleans MC by the name of Gregory D and began recording music. Manny Fresh did all of the producing, and Gregory D did the rapping. Gregory D and DJ Manny Fresh released 3 albums together before splitting up in '93. Around this time, the #1 hip-hop sound in New Orleans was bounce. Cash Money started off as a bounce music record label. Baby was introduced to a local rap group by the name of UNLV, short for Uptown Ends Living Violent. UNLV mixed bounce with hardcore gangster rap. The group signed a deal with Cash Money and began recording their debut album Sixth and Baron. That same year, Lil Slim introduced Baby to an 11-year-old rapper who went by the name of Baby D, real name Dwayne Carter. Lil Slim and Baby D were from the same block. Baby D was one of the best young rappers in the neighborhood.
I guess you know who that is, then, huh, bro?
Baby D.
Yeah.
Young ladies are saying
Wah. That's who that is. You know who that is.
Baby D.
Carter.
I ain't heard of him before.
Carter. Last name
Dwayne.
Carter. Dwayne Carter. You know who that
Oh,
is.
yeah, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Not only was he a young gangster rapper, he wrote his own lyrics as well. On May 13, 1993, Baby D meets Baby at a record store. After rapping for Baby in the record store, Baby gives Baby D a Cash Money Records business card. For over a whole year, Baby D called Cash Money Records office every day. Baby would eventually invite him to the office. Baby D and Lil Doobie began recording songs together. Baby decided to make the two a duo. They went by the name the BGs, short for Baby Gangsters. Baby D was 12 and Lil Doobie was 14 at the time. The two became good friends. Before the duo's album was released, Baby D nearly loses his life. One day after coming home from skipping school, Baby D gets a phone call from his aunt. His aunt warned him that his mother Jacita found out that he had been skipping school. Baby D panicked. He knew that his mother would punish him by taking away his privilege to rap with Cash Money. This made Baby D get a handgun from out of his mother's bedroom. He then calls the police and shoots himself in the chest while looking in the mirror. The police quickly arrived and kicked the front door off the hinges. Baby D was rushed to the hospital and underwent surgery. He was placed on life support for 2 weeks. When Baby D was released from the hospital, Jacita made him stay away from Baby and Cash Money Records. From the beginning, Jacita didn't want her son to be around Baby due to his criminal history. She always thought that Baby was trouble. Her boyfriend Reginald McDonald, also known as Rabbit, had to talk her into letting Baby D work with Cash Money. Baby D began calling Rabbit his father. The two became closer after Baby D shot himself. Rabbit was a young hustler. Baby D seen and learned a lot from watching his stepfather. At the age 13, Baby D was on the block dealing drugs with his friends. He never gave up on his rap dreams. He continued perfecting his craft. 1995 was a decent year for Cash Money Records. They released 6 albums. Altogether, they sold over 100,000 records independently. At the time, the biggest artists Cash Money had was the hardcore gangster rap bounce group UNLV. Their third album, Mac Melf Kaleo, is considered a classic in Louisiana. UNLV was comprised of Tech Nine, Lilia and Yellow Boy. The group became very popular in Louisiana in the mid-90s. Their fanbase made Cash Money Records even bigger. A 20-year-old Yellow Boy became the group's star. Many believed that he would be the future of Cash Money. A 15-year-old Doobie was now addicted to heroin. Baby and Slim were both upset when they found out. After the minor success of the BG's A True Story album, Lil Doobie changed his rap name to the BG to keep the previous fanbase growing. Not only was Doobie abusing and selling drugs, he was playing with guns around this time as well. According to Doobie, he caught his first body at the age 15. In 1996, UNLV took Cash Money Records to another level with their fourth and final album, with a label titled Uptown for Life. At the time, the group was feuding with Mystical after he dissed them on the track Y'all Ain't Ready Yet from his debut album titled Mystical. Mystical was signed to one of the biggest independent labels in New Orleans. Big Boy Records was Cash Money's only competition in the city at the time. After Mystical's album sold 300,000 copies independently, Jive Records signed Mystical and re-released the album in 1995, renaming it The Mind of Mystical. UNLV won the rap battle with a diss song Drag M in the River from the Uptown for Life album. This became Cash Money's most successful album at the time. It peaked at 86 on the Billboard R&B Hip Hop.
Now it's funny that he brought that up. I remember hearing that song. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he wants some. Ain't that cold, y'all? Mr. Cold user.
Yeah, that's how you don't say that, drag on by the river.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn, these boys. I said, Mystical must have really hurt these boys hard. I said, he didn't. I don't even think Mystical came back at them guys. Because he was too busy trying to rise to the top. Because he signed with a major label like Jive RCA. So he's like, man, fuck them. I don't care what they say. They can say what they want to say. I'm at the top.
Yeah.
Albums chart and sold over 200,000 copies independently. Tension between Baby and UNLV started right before the release of Uptown for Life album. Baby and Yellow Boy had been bumping heads for a while. In the summer of '96, Baby and Slim decided to shoot a music video for the Uptown for Life song to promote the album. On the day of the video shoot, everyone showed up but UNLV. The group arrived an hour later and this made Baby and Slim upset. They get into a heated argument with Yellow Boy. Baby and Slim then cancels the video shoot. This only made the situation worse. While driving back home, Lilia and Tech-9 talk Yellow Boy into fighting the boss. Lilia calls Baby and tell him that Yellow Boy want to fight him. Minutes later, Baby pulls up to Yellow Boy's house along with Manny Fresh, Doogie and Slim. Baby hops out of the car wearing a tank top prepared to fight. Baby and Yellow Boy began trading punches. Yellow Boy gets the best of Baby, forcing Slim to jump in the fight. Tech-9 allegedly knocked Slim out. Baby stopped fighting and helped Slim back to the car. Manny Fresh and Doogie follows them. They all gets in the car and quickly pull off. After the fight, Baby and Yellow Boy maintained a business relationship. According to Lilia, it became uncomfortable for UNLV and the Williams brothers to be around each other. Baby and Slim were allegedly planning to drop the group from the label. Not only were they tired of dealing with Yellow Boy's disrespectful behavior, they were also tired of the group complaining and asking for more money. Baby and Slim continued searching for new talent.
Woo! What you think so far, bro?
Birdman got beat up and he didn't fight them boys. That's what happened.
If I would have came at you, I'd have came like a gangster.
That way he said.
You told Charlamagne, I'd have
That's what he
came
said.
gangster.
I mean, that one, never mind. We ain't gonna get into it. You trying to stop me.
Let's keep the good time rolling.
Yeah, man.
Miss T, Little Slim, Kilo G, PMW and Mr. Ivan were no longer signed to Cash Money Records. Pimp Daddy was killed in '94 and UNLV was on the way out the door. A 16-year-old BG formerly known as Lil Doobie became the label's star. His album Chopper City was just as big as UNLV's Uptown for Life album. Chopper City ended up selling over 100,000 copies and is now considered a classic. While working on the Chopper City album, Baby and Slim meets 21-year-old Tyrius Gray, also known as Juvenile. Juvenile grew up in the Magnolia Projects. In the early 90s, Juvenile became known as the best MC in the Magnolia Projects. At the time, Juvenile was only making bounce music. After rapping at several parties, Juvenile hooks up with bounce legend DJ Jimmy and became his ghostwriter. Most of the songs on DJ Jimmy's debut album It's Jimmy were written by a teenage Juvenile. Some even consider
Now I know y'all know who DJ Jimmy is, huh?
Legend. You know what I'm saying? Definitely a legend.
Where they at, ho? Where they at, ho? I always thought he was from Memphis. I did not know he was from Louisiana.
No, do it, baby. Stick it, baby.
Juvenile, the real king of bounce music, due to him writing one of the biggest bounce songs ever called Where They At by DJ Jimmy. Where They At was an instant classic in New Orleans.
Yes, sir.
Bounce for the Juvenile was another classic bounce song from DJ Jimmy's debut album. The song was written and performed by Juvenile. It later landed him an album deal with Warlock Records. The following year, a guy from the St. Thomas Projects by the name of DJ Jubilee took over the bounce scene. His 1993 regional hit Do the Jubilee All became the biggest bounce song at this point. DJ Jubilee invented the word twerking in the song. Not only do he uses the word twerking, the man gives instructions how to twerk. DJ Jubilee is one of the reasons bounce music was later dominated by females and the LGBTQ community. In the early and mid-90s, women were being disrespected in a lot of bounce songs. DJ Jubilee made fun family music. He took bounce music to another level. That's why many consider him the king of bounce. In 1994, Juvenile signed an album deal with Warlock Records. His debut album Being Myself was released in February of '95. The album didn't sell many copies, but it built Juvenile a small fan base in Louisiana. By 1996, Juvenile was working a regular 9-to-5 job. One day on his way home from work, he was picked up from the bus stop by Baby and Slim. According to UNLV member Lilia, he picked up Juvenile from the bus stop and took him to the studio to meet Baby and Slim, which make a lot more sense. Juvenile raps for Baby and Slim. His soulful sound and brilliant lyrics made the brothers want to sign him to Cash Money Records. Juvenile told them that the only way he'd quit his job and sign to the label, Cash Money, would have to pay him $2,000 weekly. Baby and Slim would eventually agree to the deal and sign Juvenile to Cash Money Records. Baby and Yellow Boy continued bumping heads. In the winter of '96, the two gets into it once again. This time it was allegedly over a paycheck for Yellow Boy. When Lilia and Tech 9 went to pick up their paychecks from Baby and Slim, Yellow Boy asked them to pick up his as well. Baby refused to give them Yellow Boy's paycheck. This made Yellow Boy upset. He allegedly drove to Baby's house and shot it up. Baby and several others were inside the house during the shooting. Luckily no one was hurt. Yellow Boy even allegedly shot up one of Baby's vehicles before leaving. It's obvious that Baby was upset. Yellow Boy had went too far this time. Days later he get his paycheck from Cash Money Records. Insiders say that Yellow Boy never apologized to Baby for shooting up his house. The members of UNLV were all known to be wild, especially Yellow Boy. He was well respected in the streets and even feared by some people. His heroin addiction kept him running the streets. UNLV was loved in New Orleans. They were on their way to the top. But Baby and Slim had other plans. Their focus were no longer on UNLV. Baby and Slim were building a new Cash Money. That same year Baby D rejoins Cash Money Records after his stepfather Rabbit was shot and killed. The 14-year-old now went by the name Lil Wayne. His mother Jacita decided to let him work with Cash Money as long as he don't use profanity in his lyrics. This is when Lil Wayne began spending more time with Baby and Slim. While working on Magnolia Shorty's debut album titled Monkey on the D, Baby and Slim hear about a 15-year-old rapper who lived in the Magnolia Projects. Tab Virgil Jr., also known as Young Turk, was a high school football player who loved to rap. Turk started off recording music with a local unknown rap group back in 1995. Turk and the group recorded diss songs about the Bee Gees to get Baby and Slim's attention. Magnolia Shorty introduced Turk to Baby and Slim at a Magnolia block party. Many of Cash Money artists attended the block party that day, including UNLV. Turk raps for Slim because Baby wasn't interested at the time. After hearing Turk rap, Slim gives him a business card and tell him to come to the studio. Turk began coming to the studio hanging out with BG, Juvenile and Wayne. In the beginning, Turk didn't know how to write songs correctly. He didn't understand the meaning of 16 bars. Each day Turk got better. He would eventually began using heroin with label mate BG. It wouldn't be long before Turk was addicted to the drug. He began using it every day. Sometimes he would even skip school to get high. To keep Baby and Slim.
Hey, it's like saying, goddamn, you gotta get your mind right, homie. You know what I'm saying? You don't know 16 bars, nigga. You need to hit this heart. You need to hit this hair on, nigga. You need to get your mind right.
Yeah, get the hair on.
And finding out about his habit, Turk would send one of his buddies to score bags of
Get the
heroin to
hair on.
Magnolia Projects. Unlike Lil Wayne and BG, Turk's father was still around and active in his life. Turk jumped off the porch at an early age. He was known as one of the bad kids in the Magnolia Projects. Around this time, Baby and Slim's sister Dorothy's son became a part of Cash Money Records. 15-year-old Derek Williams, also known as Bulletproof, was a young hustler from the St. Thomas Projects. Derek looked up to his uncle Baby. He began hanging out at the studio and writing rhymes with BG, Wayne, Juvenile and Turk. Baby and Slim kept their artists in the studio to keep them out of trouble, and Derek was still deep in the streets. Not only was he a drug dealer, he allegedly shot and robbed a lot of people as well. This the reason he never signed to Cash Money. Baby and Slim were ready to start a new hardcore rap group with Juvenile, BG, Lil Wayne, Young Turk and Derek as the 5 members. Thanks to Baby's younger brother Gangsta, they named the group the Hot Boys. In the beginning there were 5 members in the group. Juvenile was basically the leader due to his age and hip-hop knowledge. Like I said before, Juvenile was a true MC. He was the best rapper on Cash Money at the time. BG was the star of the group. He became huge in the city when Chopper City was released. Derek, Wayne and Turk were all basically new artists. This Hot Boys rap group was a big deal in New Orleans. Even before recording one song as the Hot Boys, people were talking about the group and couldn't wait to hear their music. Baby and Slim began focusing only on the Hot Boys. Members of UNLV knew that their Cash Money days were over. That meant no more beats from producer Manny Fresh. The Hot Boys was basically about to pick up where UNLV left off. This caused a little tension between the Hot Boys and UNLV. One time Turk hid from Yellow Boy when Yellow Boy had pulled up to his high school. The young Turk knew that Yellow Boy was violent. On April 5, 1997, 22-year-old Albert Thomas, also known as Yellow Boy, was shot and killed inside his vehicle in the Central City neighborhood of New Orleans. His murder remains unsolved. It was a sad day in New Orleans. Friends, family, and fans all mourned Yellow Boy's death. UNLV became legendary. More people began buying their albums. Cash
Well, I'm gonna say it like this. One thing about y'all gotta understand about the universe. It's a ring around the universe for a reason. It's called karma. You know, Yo Boy set up a standard for himself. God rest the dead to the brothers, but he set up a bad boy standard to himself that even the Most High get tired. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't keep doing shit and don't expect shit not to happen. He felt like he was Superman. I mean, you know, that's just like if you ever watch that movie, not Boy in the Hood, or Menace to Society. Remember when Kane did his first little situation when Harry got shot?
Yeah.
And then on the narrating part of the movie, he said, "I just killed somebody. When I did that, I feel like I can do it again."
Yeah. He's some badass yellow boys. Oh, they want some.
And Yellow Boy was on that same level to the point where he had folks scared of him. But
Ain't that cold,
even the scare can kill you.
That's what makes the cowards the dangerous ones. That's what it is.
So
the cowards are the dangerous ones.
Yes, sir.
Cash Money Records was now the biggest independent record label in New Orleans. This was the perfect time for the Hot Boys to release music. The Hot Boys attracted a lot of attention in New Orleans. That name held a lot of weight in the city. This was during the time the original Hot Boys were running the streets. Everyone in the city knew that Baby and Slim were affiliated with the original Hot Boys because Gangsta is their little brother. This made the Hot Boy rap group even more interesting.
Hot Boys. Hot Boys.
The original Hot Boys was started by Baby and Slim's younger brother Terrence Williams, also known as Gangsta. Gangsta grew up in the Gerttown neighborhood in New Orleans. Him and his family lived in a small 2-bedroom house on Pine and Olive Street. Gangsta began getting into trouble at an early age. He started off burglarizing homes and stealing from nearby stores. By age 11, he was stealing cars with his friends. At the time, his big brothers Baby and Slim were both deep in the drug game. Gangsta would often see his brothers in the neighborhood. One day, a 17-year-old Baby allegedly come to the neighborhood to pick up 11-year-old Gangsta and take him to shoot a guy for robbing a female friend of his. According to Gangsta, this was the first time he had went on a hit. Gangsta looked up to Baby and Slim. He proved to them that he was ready for the streets. The older guy from the neighborhood talked Gangsta into playing football to keep him out of trouble. Gangsta began playing on the Pee Wee football team with future NFL player Patrick Surtain. It wouldn't be long before Gangsta quit the team and jumped back into the streets. He became good friends with John Bryant, later known as Mosquito, in the late 80s. Gangsta and Mosquito began hanging out in the Magnolia Projects. The Magnolia Projects was one of the largest housing projects in uptown New Orleans. Over 1,400 units and approximately over 3,000 people. By the late 80s, the projects was a goldmine for drug dealers in the neighborhood. A whole lot of violence began taking place. Gangsta and Mosquito both began dealing pot in the neighborhood, basically nickeling and diming.
Whole concepts.
Heroin. BG was arrested and charged with possession of a firearm. This was his first time getting in trouble with the law. He was later found guilty and had to serve time in jail. On May 13, 1997, Cash Money Records released Juvenile's Soldier Rag album. It became an instant classic in New Orleans and sold over 200,000 copies independently. Juvenile was not only becoming the biggest artist on Cash Money Records, he was becoming the biggest rapper in the city. BG's It's All On You Volume 1 album was released on July 1st of that year. It debuted at number 17 on the Billboard Heatseekers albums chart and later sold over 200,000 copies independently. It was now time to finish up the Hot Boys album. Derek was eventually voted out the group by BG, Lil Wayne and Turk. Derek was no longer welcome to the studio. The 4 remaining members continued recording songs for the album. The Hot Boys Get It How You Live album was released on October 28, 1997. It peaked at number 37 on the Billboard Top R&B Albums chart and sold over 300,000 copies independently. Just 1 month later, BG It's All On You, Volume 2 album was released and peaked at number 184 on the Billboard 200 chart, number 14 on the Billboard Heatseekers albums chart, and number 20 on the top R&B albums chart. It's All On You Volume 2 sold over 200,000 copies. Cash Money Records took over the New Orleans rap scene. Even when No Limit Records was the biggest rap label in the world, Cash Money was still number 1 in New Orleans. Master P and No Limit didn't make bounce music. When bounce music was born, Master P was living in Richmond, California. He started No Limit Records in 1991. In 1995, he signed a distribution deal with Priority Records. By 1997, No Limit Records was the biggest hip-hop record label in the South. In 1998, No Limit took over the whole rap game. That year, they released 23 albums and sold over 20 million records. 1998 was a good year for Cash Money as well. They signed one of the best deals in history. In March of that year, Baby and Slim signed a $30 million 3-year distribution deal with Universal Records. Baby and Slim were given a $2 million advance each year, $1.5 million for each of their artists, 85% of profits from album sales, 80% of their publishing royalties and ownership to all masters. Money began pouring in. Baby and Slim get several Diamond Cash Money Records medallions made for them and their artists. The Cash Money Records pendant became one of the best hip-hop pendants in hip-hop history. Baby and Slim's younger brother Gangsta continued running the streets. The feds was always watching the Williams brothers. After Yellow Boy was killed in 1997, Cash Money Records became watched by the feds even more. One day Gangsta decides to rob and kill one of his heroin suppliers from New York City. He began planning the hit with his friends over the phone. Little did he know that his cell phone was tapped. On March 6th of that year, Gangsta was arrested and charged with engaging in a continuing criminal enterprise and solicitation for murder. Baby and Slim provides attorney money for Gangsta, but the evidence was too strong. Gangsta later pleaded guilty to the charges and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Federal agents tried to get Gangsta to roll on his brother Baby and Cash Money Records for a shorter sentence. At the time, they believed that Baby was running a criminal organization. They were aware of his drug dealing history and his reputation in the streets. Since the late 80s, Baby been known as one of the biggest drug dealers in uptown New Orleans. Gangsta stood tall and didn't tell the feds anything about Baby or Cash Money Records. BG was supposed to be the first artist to release an album after signing the distribution deal with Universal. Not only was BG on probation, he stayed going to drug rehabs as well. Baby and Slim decided to just put out the Big Timers album first. The Big Timers How You Love That Volume 2 was the first album Cash Money released after getting a distribution deal with Universal Records. It was now time to finish up Juvenile's third solo album 400 Degrees. 400 Degrees was released on November 3, 1998. The album peaked at number 2 on Billboard's top R&B hip-hop albums music chart, and it later sold over 7 million copies. Back That Thing Up was the biggest single on the album. It sold over 500,000 copies alone. This was the first time bounce music and twerking were introduced to the rest of the world. Juvenile became one of the biggest rappers in the game. His 400 Degrees album was an instant classic. A lot of No Limit fans were now Cash Money fans.
You heard that, bro?
Yeah, a lot of No Limit fans were now Cash Money fans.
See, I'm telling you.
After Master P retired from rapping in '98 to begin his basketball career, No Limit Records began falling apart. In 1999, No Limit in-house producers Beats by the Pound left the label over financial issues. Beats by the Pound gave No Limit the sound that the world fell in love with. Before Beats by the Pound became the label in-house producers, Master P had a more West Coast sound. Many people didn't even know he was from New Orleans until the Ice Cream Man album in 1996.
Ice Cream Man.
1999 was No Limit Records' last big run. Cash Money began taking over the radio. On April 20th of that year, BG's fourth studio album Chopper City in the Ghetto was released. It debuted at number 9 on the Billboard 200 and sold 140,000 copies in its first week. The album was certified platinum that same year. Bling Bling was the album's main single. The song became one of Cash Money Records' biggest hits. Young Turk was featured on the original song, but when it was time to record the radio version, Turk was too high to go to the studio and record his verse. BG was now a platinum selling artist. He was also most people's favorite rapper on Cash Money. His first 4 albums are considered classics. The future was looking bright for a 19-year-old BG. The only problem was, he was still dealing with a heroin and cocaine addiction. Him and Young Turk became closer due to their habits. Baby and Slim didn't like them getting high and even tried to get them both help. BG and Turk's heroin addiction was becoming a huge problem. The two couldn't work without being high, and sometimes they were too high to even work. They were both now using needles. According to Turk, when he couldn't score any H, he would inject himself with cocaine. BG and Turk were really living like rock stars. In July of that year, the Hot Boys released their second album, Guerrilla Warfare. It peaked at number 1 on the top R&B hip-hop albums and sold over 140,000 copies in its first week. Guerrilla Warfare was certified platinum that same year. We On Fire and I Need a Hot Girl were both hit singles atop the charts. The Hot Boys took over the down south gangster rap scene. There were now Hot Boys in every ghetto in the country. Young men began getting more tattoos, wearing long white t-shirts, and even multiple bandanas. That same year, rap superstar Missy Elliott released a single titled Hot Boys, featuring Q-Tip, Eve, and Nas. Hot Boys was a smash hit. It broke the record for most weeks at number 1 on the US R&B chart and sold over 1 million copies in only 2 months. This made the Hot Boy rap group even more popular. Although BG and Juvenile were most people's favorite Hot Boy members at the time, Turk and Lil Wayne were both.
I just thought about it. That's right. She did had a song called Hot Boys. Hot Boys, what I want. Yeah.
It's kind of
Starts
sad.
now. In November of that same year, Lil Wayne's debut album The Block Is Hot was released and debuted at number 3 on the US Billboard 200 chart. The album went platinum in just 1 month. Lil Wayne, BG, and Juvenile were all now huge rap stars. Cash Money ended the year with a bang by releasing Juvenile's 4th studio album, The G Code, in December of that year. The G Code was another successful album from Cash Money Records. It sold almost 300,000 copies in its first week and was certified platinum the following month. 2000 was another huge year for Cash Money Records. Not only did they film their first movie, Baller Blocking, they prepared to go on a worldwide tour with rapper DMX and the Rough Riders. The Cash Money Rough Rider tour was huge. The Big Timers, the Hot Boys, LOX, female rap star Eve, Drag On, Swiss Beats, and DMX all go on a 40-day cross-country arena tour. Tickets sold out everywhere they went. DMX was the biggest rapper in the world at the time. He had just released 3 albums that sold over 14 million copies altogether. An up-and-coming rapper from Queens, New York, who went by the name 50 Cent, was an opening act. For 2 months, CMR, the Rough Riders, and 50 Cent traveled together. The tour grossed over $14 million. It was one of the biggest tours in hip-hop history. In September of that year, the Baller Blockin' movie soundtrack was released, and in November, BG's 5th solo album, Checkmate, was released. Checkmate debuted at number 21 on the Billboard 200 and later sold over 1 million copies. Baller Blocking movie was released straight to video on December 4th of that year. Starring Baby, the Hot Boys, comedian AJ Johnson, and TK Kirkland. This was the first and only time a movie was filmed in the Magnolia Projects. Some call the film a classic. On December 19th, Lil Wayne's second album, Lights Out, was released and peaked at number 16 on the US Billboard
That was my shit right there. That was one of my favorite songs by Lil Wayne.
What's that?
200 chart. The album was later certified gold.
Yeah, I like that album
Cash Money
too.
Records generated over $100 million in only 2 years. Baby and Slim still allegedly underpaid their artists. According to many insiders, after cutting small checks with the artists, Baby kept them cutting by giving them cars, jewelry, and pocket money. In the beginning, they all believed that Baby and Slim was doing right by them.
So, bro, what you think so far on that?
Man, cheated them boys. Man, you know what I'm saying? What'd you say? Jewelry, cars, and pocket money. No, that ain't cool, dog.
Well, according to Baby, he said, hell, he'll fan his art.
I know. The lie. You see it. You see it. The lies, the lies, the lies.
Well, you know, the thing is, you know, I seen Cuz went up there earlier. He said that, you know, Master P wasn't, at least Master P was paying his artists.
Well, he was definitely doing that. But since the other one was getting over on his, and everybody loved him.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Well, all that was hunky dory and beautiful because they were young, dumb, full of everything. But the thing, as long as they were seeing a little cash and some jewelry in a car, they felt like it was the world was at the palm of their hand.
That's what they say.
Here's the concept of the breakup that starts right here.
2001 was a slow year for Cash Money Records. A new Hot Boy album was truly needed at the time. Juvenile's last album G-Code went double platinum, but didn't match the success of 400 Degrees. Things only got worse when BG left Cash Money over a financial dispute with Baby. BG began feuding with Baby. According to BG, Baby was basically feeding him crumbs. After selling over 5 million records, BG expected more from the label. Instead of signing to another record label, BG decided to start his own label by the name of Chopper City Records. But first, a 20-year-old BG had to sober up. He admitted himself into a drug rehab once again. BG was the heart of Cash Money. Even back then he was looked at as a legendary rapper in the South. Losing him was a major loss for the label. BG's departure from Cash Money broke a lot of hearts. People such as Lil Wayne, Turk and Juvenile quickly began missing their friend. On June 5th of that year, Young Turk's debut album Young and Thugging was released. It debuted at number 9 on the Billboard 200 and number 2 on the top R&B hip-hop albums. The album sold over 82,000 in its first week and was later certified gold. Juvenile left Cash Money Records over contractual disputes shortly before his fifth solo album Project English was released in August of 2001. The album peaked number 2 on the Billboard 200 and was eventually certified platinum. Cash Money now lost their best two artists. It wouldn't be long before Turk part ways with the label as well. In 2002, Juvenile started a record label by the name of UTP Records and immediately forms a rap group by the name of UTP Players. The group originally consisted of Juvenile, Wacko, Skip, Corey C.
Yeah.
Tennessee rapper
I
Young Buck, and
remember,
Soulja Slim. Later that
One,
year, the
man,
group released a compilation
I
album.
remember
Four, bust it.
their manager came to Greenville, Mississippi, promoting that song Magnolia Clap.
Yeah, Magnolia Clap, baby.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, who the fuck is this? And dude was like, this is my new artist, that's down with Juvenile. They was at the Greenville Mall. I'll never forget that. He said the guy's name Skip and Wacko. And they got a song called Magnolia Clap. Magnolia Clap. And I was like, okay. So he gave me the goddamn CD and I took it home and played that motherfucker. I said, okay, it's pretty straight. Well, I know it. Goddamn 99 Jams and 94 Rad, all these stations start playing it. Then I look up VT video. I'm like, oh shit.
All right.
Album titled The Compilation through an independent label by the name of Orpheus Records. Cash Money Records signed several new artists, such as West Coast rapper Mac 10, R&B singer TQ, Chicago rapper Mickey, the duo Boo and Gotti, Philadelphia rap group Major Figures, and a few other up-and-coming artists. Juvenile, BG and Turk's verses on Lil Wayne's song Shine from the Lights Out album were replaced with verses from Mac 10, Mickey and Baby, in the summer of 2001. This was a new Cash Money Records. On April 30th, 2002, the Big Timers released their fourth studio album Hood Rich. Hood Rich debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200.
Gate up moves, that shit.
Yeah, kept our Gucci.
Yeah.
And sold almost 200,000 copies in its first week. Hood Rich became the Big Timers' second platinum album. The first single from the album, Still Fly, peaked at number 4 on the Hot R&B Hip Hop Songs chart, number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, and earned 2 Grammy nominations. The Big Timers were now the biggest artists on Cash Money Records. Lil Wayne was no longer a huge rap star. That same year he took a shot at former Hot Boy group mate Juvenile by naming his third studio album 500 Degrees. This is when Lil Wayne began changing his rap style. Being around people such as Gilly the Kid made Lil Wayne a better MC. Gilly the Kid allegedly became Cash Money Records' in-house ghostwriter from 2001 to 2004. After the breakup of Major Figures, Gilly planned to be a solo artist on Cash Money, but he ended up only being a ghostwriter for Baby. Gilly the Kid claims he wrote verses for Lil Wayne during this time also. When New Orleans was running the rap game in the late 90s, Lil Wayne was looked at as the hottest young rapper in the game. But in the early 2000s, when New York had took over the rap game again, Lil Wayne and many other southern rappers were no longer relevant. 2001 was one of the best years in hip-hop history. At the time, Lil Wayne was only looked at as an average down-south rapper. On his 2002 album 500 Degrees, both Lil Wayne lyrics and delivery were above average. He even took shots at his former group members. 500 Degrees peaked at number 6 on the US Billboard 200 chart, number 1 on the US Top.
I guess he did anything he could to try to get notoriety, huh?
Yeah, whatever.
Y'all niggas ain't with the group no more, so I'm finna dish y'all.
Get a boost.
R&B hip-hop albums chart, and sold over 140,000 copies in its first week. The album was certified gold that same year. Days before Lil Wayne's 500 Degrees album was released, Juvenile released an underground album titled 600 Degrees under his label UTP Records. The project was produced by JT the Bigga Figga. Juvenile dissed Lil Wayne throughout the album. Lil Wayne began releasing mixtapes with his rap group Squad Up. The group was started by him, Super Blanco, and his high school friend Young Yo. Squad Up originally consisted of Lil Wayne, Young Yo, Super Blanco, Gutta Gutta, Raw Dizzy, Kid Kid, T Streets, Fee Banks, and Shot Tura, all from New Orleans. In 2002, Squad Up released 4 mixtapes. The SQ mixtapes built Squad Up a small fan base in the South. Baby and Slim's nephew Derek and a few of his friends had started their own record label by the name of Smoked Out Records. From 1999 to 2001, Smoked Out Records released 2 compilation albums. Derek was still knee-deep in the streets at this time. He was allegedly a big-time drug dealer who threw his money around in nightclubs. They called him the number 2 stunner because he drove around in nice new cars and wore expensive jewelry that only rappers and athletes wore. Due to his uncles Baby and Slim, Derek had a good relationship with UGK members Pimp C and Bun B. On October 31, 2002, 21-year-old Derek Williams was shot and killed in the streets of New Orleans. The murder remains unsolved. This hurt Baby and Slim both. Although they kicked Derek out of the Hot Boys rap group and didn't sign him to Cash Money Records, Baby and Slim wanted the best for their nephew. Baby even helped Derek get a distribution deal for Smoked Out Records when him and Lil Wayne were both featured on the song Busting Heads and Getting Paid from the Smoked Out compilation album back in 1999. Derek B.G. Williams, also known as Bulletproof, will always be remembered as the 5th Hot Boy member. Baby was now known as the Birdman. Many people convinced him to be a solo artist. Back in the early 90s, Baby went by the name B32 and released an album titled I Need a Bag of Dope. I Need a Bag of Dope is a bounce classic in New Orleans. Over the years, Baby built a nice fan base of his own. On November 26, 2002, Baby released his second album, Birdman. It peaked at number 24 on the Billboard 200 and was certified gold 5 weeks later. In the beginning of 2003, BG signed an independent label deal with Koch for Chopper City Records. On February 25th of that year, BG released his 6th studio album, Living Legend. This was BG's first album done without Mannie Fresh as the producer, and it was also his first double album. BG worked with other producers such as Clinton Sparks, Beat Doctor, KIDD, and other new producers. Living Legend debuted at number 21 on the US Billboard and number 4 on the US Top R&B Hip Hop Album. The album sold over 400,000 copies with no hit single. BG dissed Baby and Lil Wayne a lot on the album. Even in interviews, BG was honest about his relationship with Cash Money Records. Hot Boys' Let 'Em Burn album was released on March 25, 2003. It was recorded from 1998 to 2000. The album didn't feature any new songs from the group. It only sold 64,000 copies in its first week. Lil Wayne was the only Hot Boy member who didn't release a solo album in 2003, but released 4 more SQ mixtapes with Squad Up that year. In April of 2003, Juvenile works out a 1-album deal with Cash Money Records. The 28-year-old rapper had huge plans for his label UTP Records and didn't plan to stick around at Cash Money for long this time. That same month, Juvenile said,
Yeah, I was wondering, because now it's coming back to me that he was on a video Bounce Back with Juvenile. They were shaking hands, and I never knew what that was all about. Okay.
6th solo album, Juve the Great, was released as well. Mannie Fresh only.
And that was my favorite album right there, Juve the Great album, with slow motion and Bounce Back and Need in My Life and all that shit on there. That shit, that album was jamming, bro.
He produced 5 songs on the album, and Lil Wayne or any of the Hot Boys didn't appear on the album at all. Slow Motion featuring Soldier Slim was the album's hit single. Originally a song for Soldier Slim's album but was given to Juvenile. Soldier Slim knew that the song would be much bigger if Juvenile released it under Cash Money Records. Unfortunately, Soldier Slim didn't get to see the song's success. He was shot and killed in November of 2003. Slow Motion held the #1 position on the Billboard Hot 100 for 2 weeks and sold over 500,000 copies. The single became Cash Money Records' first #1 hit. Juve the Great was Juvenile's 4th platinum-selling album. It was also Juvenile's last album with Cash Money Records. He began focusing on his label UTP Records. Months later, Juvenile signs a UTP album deal with J Prince at Rap-A-Lot Records. 2004 wasn't looking good for Cash Money Records. Many of the artists either left or were dropped from the label. The Big Timers was the label's only hope at the time, but Baby and Manny Fresh were both in their mid-30s. The label needed young artists to attract the younger audience. Cash Money was no longer looked at as one of the biggest hip-hop record companies in the game. Around this time, 50 Cent and G-Unit Records dominated the rap game. Many believed that Cash Money Records was about to fade away like No Limit. At 21-year-old Lil Wayne was ready to save his record label. After recording 500 Degrees, Baby told Lil Wayne to stop rapping like Jay-Z and be more original. Lil Wayne was a huge Jay-Z fan. The Blueprint was one of his favorite albums. At the time, Jay-Z was looked at as the coolest guy on the planet. Millions of people were obsessed with the smooth Brooklyn MC. 40% of the black population followed Jay-Z. They dressed like him, tried to talk like him, even act like him, and a lot of rappers tried to rap like him. Jay-Z was one of the biggest trendsetters in hip-hop history. Lil Wayne decided...
Only the ones that really didn't. Never mind. Let's go.
Yeah, it's a lot of lying around his dinner table.
He stopped rapping like Jay-Z and began perfecting his own style. After all the writing, all of the recording albums and mixtapes, after working with MCs such as Juvenile and Mac.
Bullshit.
10. And after studying hip-hop following MCs such as Jay-Z, Missy Elliott, Wu-Tang Clan and other New York City MCs, Lil Wayne created a new style of rapping that was out of this world. He began releasing underground mixtapes. The Drought 1, the Drought 2 and the Prefix were all considered classic mixtapes. Lil Wayne's fanbase began growing once again. This was around the time he became addicted to codeine and other pharmaceutical drugs. Him and Baby both were now claiming a West Coast blood gang. The Harlem, New York rap group The Diplomats influenced Wayne a lot as well. They were some of the best mixing rappers in the early and mid-2000s. Many people even say that they made a bigger impact with fashion than what they did with music. Dipset made the Bloods very popular in the hip-hop world. At first, the rap game was dominated by Crips. DJ Quick, Suge Knight and Mac 10 were basically the only known Bloods in the game. But that all changed in 2002 when the Diplomats came onto the scene. They made gangbanging look cool. Lil Wayne pretty much followed the wave. He no longer dressed like...
To be honest with you, Ruh, here's a little fun fact. The Swans had something to do with the Diplomats doing their blood shit out there.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
was from New Orleans. This was a new and improved Lil Wayne. His confidence was now through the roof.
Because believe it or not, Brooklyn never had no Crips and Bloods out there. They just called them, like, they just had a little street gang. You had like motorcycle gang. They had little jackets with the name on, all that old white folk type of shit. They didn't start doing our shit until like they said, the early 40s, 2000.
Dipset?
So, Ro, what do you think so far, man? Cause that's some deep shit. We're gonna get up out of that. So
Yeah.
that was a nice little rundown documentary. You know
Uh-huh.
what I'm saying? I mean, because you seen a lot of give and take. You see a lot of lives was basically taken. Guys being
Good
locked
job.
up. But I think, to me, that I think me and you talked about this a while back about the whole concept of New Orleans culture and why it's so scarce in the United States.
Yeah.
It was something that you had brought up back here. Do you know what that was, bro? When I was talking about, it seemed like it's a lot of high energy voodoo ties type of lifestyle going on in that part of the world?
Well, I mean, it's got a lot of different culture. You know what I'm saying? That I mean, shoot, they dabble in the arts down that way. I'll just put it that way. You know, I'll say that it's definitely charged down that way from a spiritual standpoint. So a lot of things played a part down that way, my man.
I mean, because from what I see, you know, folks like they scared to go down to New Orleans because they heard they practice voodoo, and you know, but from retrospect, black folks are about they shit down there and don't take no shit down there, and that's kind of make that part of the country really a threat in the United States because you got a lot
Yeah.
of Creole culture in that part of the country. And I think a lot was like Haitians or Jamaican, kind of like a Haitian.
Go ahead.
It's something dealing with us as black, strong black culture in that part of the world.
Go ahead.
But it has been rerouted to like they do everything else in the United States, make it point against each other. Because Hurricane Katrina, that wasn't no regular hurricane that just come there and just started flooding out that whole city like that. That was some more shit. So I wasn't gonna even go there, but I'm sorry. You know,
Dip said.
the slick man know exactly who he talking about. Look at him on the screen. You know exactly who he talking about.
I see him. Go ahead with it.
You know.
Hey, I mean, you know how it go. You know how it go.
That's all I can say, Master P.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, you know, through that label, Cash Money, had been through a whole lot of ups and downs, as we can see.
Yes, it has.
Even before they was even noticed, they was on the prowl of good and bad and evil.
Yes, it has.
Damn.
Yes, it has.
Oh boy.
But I mean, they did what they could, bro. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had their time to get out there and get their shine on, get known. They 15 minutes of fame, if you will.
Yeah,
Straight like that.
Yeah, they did that. Most definitely.
Yeah, straight like that, man.
The thing is, like I say, eat through all the negativity, all of the scrutiny, and all the killing and dealing and motherfuckers getting locked up and all that shit. They brought out some good music. And see, one thing, like I said about Sister Shawzia Ali said back here on the podcast, she said that even through our ignorance, we're still number one. We're powerful even through our ignorance.
I've been screaming that.
Because it's just like that everything we do is godly like, but it can be directed in the wrong way. Because that label, it started off the same way Master P started his label. It was just and it wasn't really hitting on shit like it was when No Limit came out. But when they started really doing a bigger deal, because Baby say shit, P and them signed with Priority Records. We get over here to Universal, it's gonna take off.
Definitely got to take off.
Because Universal is a bigger label than Priority.
Because they got the pushing power. They got that pushing power. Promotion. We're gonna get you on MTV, we're gonna get you on Rap City, and we're gonna get your video on there.
Yeah.
And we're gonna play it Friday and we're gonna play it Saturday when it drops. You know how they used to do it.
And the thing is, like I said, that song, Back That Thing Up, Back That Ass Up, was a universal hit. That song was played all over the airways, around the country and around the world.
All over the place, dog.
I'm not saying that, no limit shit wasn't played all over the place and all over the world, but it's just the energy of that song basically brought out this whole twerking culture.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened.
Well, look where we at today. Twerking 101. Still going. Like the Energizer Bunny. Still going.
Tell me about it.
Because before the twerk culture, women was dancing like women. Then women just had all kind of dance. They say, I ain't got to do no whole dance. All I got to do is bend my ass over to do one little swallow with my ass, and I'm good. I'm doing something.
That's it. Everybody gonna be, ooh, look how it shake. Ooh, ooh. And that's all.
Ooh.
Yeah, that type of ooh, like you did. Yeah.
Niggas going crazy. But you got to understand.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
It's real life. It ain't fantasy. It's real. This shit is legit. The spiritual behalf of that song raised the bar for the twerk culture. Because I didn't even know a dude created that twerk shit. I thought that shit came from the Yin Yang Twins out of Atlanta.
Well,
they started in New Orleans.
Bounce music.
And most folks will argue to death, say, no, that's bullshit. It started in Atlanta.
What you thought? I saw the check, nigga. Huh?
You know what I'm saying? It don't even matter. She's right there.
Say, don't care about what you thought.
It don't matter what you think. Shit.
I saw the tape, nigga.
Exactly. They show that dude up there twerking his ass off. Like, what the fuck? That's why you started laughing. You was like, oh no.
Yeah. I ain't into it.
Like, god damn, they did it to us again.
No, I ain't into it.
Bruh. Well, only thing I can say, through all that Cash Money shit, I really enjoyed some of the music lineups, because I ain't gonna lie, Juvenile's Judy the Great album was one of the best ever on that label. It's always gonna be a classic. I'm always want that. I ain't gonna lie. That slow motion is like a mixture of blues and hip hop together.
Oh, I like it like that.
Because it had that genre where you can lay back and just bow your head and, like, you know what I'm saying? And hell, you can shit grind off that kind of song, you know what I'm saying?
Slow motion, baby. Slow motion, baby. Do it slow motion, baby.
Even though God rest dead, Soulja Slim didn't get a chance to really enjoy the genre of that song, because that was really his song.
Yeah, her neck and her back.
You know. But through it all, like I say, Lil Wayne, he ended up blowing up out of all the artists of that label, because he 2007 was his year. Because he did that song on Millie, and he was going bar after bar after bar. That really took him off.
Yeah.
Everybody started paying attention to him. Then he had the song Lollipop. Then he had the song Miss Officer. He had all these songs coming back to back to back, and he was just coming at it.
Yeah, he had it on lock.
But then I know even one time they even tried to put who was the best out of Lil Boosie and Lil Wayne.
Lyrically, Boosie ain't got nothing on him.
Yeah, my nephew, Dwayne London Jr. You know what I'm saying? He'll tell you. He's been a diehard Lil Wayne fan ever since he was way back in the days. But he said he was like, That nigga Lil Boosie ain't got shit on Lil Wayne. I don't know why motherfuckers even fooling themselves thinking Lil Wayne is on that. Lil Boosie's on the level of Lil Wayne.
He ain't got the wordplay.
No. Well, in some aspect or another, in the D South, certain parts of the D South think Lil Boosie is better than Lil Wayne.
I mean, you just spit, you know what I'm saying, real street stuff. That's what Boosie was doing, real street stuff. So that's why everybody was jamming it. You know what I'm saying? They can relate to it. But as far as lyrical bars, you know what I'm saying, and being able to play with the words and whatnot, nah, he ain't in there right. He ain't got nothing in there.
Well, that's the whole concept of that situation with the Cash Money persona.
Yeah.
I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up. That was a really good. That was a good podcast on that part of our culture music. I guess the next label we're gonna do is we gotta go back up. We gotta go back to the 80s. And yeah, we gotta go back to the 80s, bro. Okay. Cold Chillin' Records. We're going back to New York.
Oh, we might be out there for a little while. Cause I was thinking about Murder Inc. and I was thinking about what's the other one out there way? It was Murder Inc. and it was another one. Flip Mode.
Flip Mode, and you can do Flavor Unit too.
Well, like I say, I can't remember. It might be just, you know what I'm saying. I don't know if Flip Mode was a.
I don't think Flip Mode wasn't that big. It wasn't like that.
Yeah. I didn't know Buster was pushing him a lot though.
Even to the point we probably just gonna have to skip past those two because even Flavor Unit wasn't even that big. Because Flavor Unit was like Naughty by Nature, Queen Latifah, and that's basically it, I think.
Yeah. I mean, y'all out there listening right now, y'all want us to comment, you know what I'm saying? Hit us in the section. Tell us about that if you want to hear about Flavor Unit and Flip Mode, the rest of the other. But other than that, though, what you got planned for us on the schedule now? You say what from the 80s?
We're going to go to Cold Chillin'. We're going to try Cold Chillin' out.
All right.
Because there's some things I haven't know about Cold Chillin'. I actually thought that was a Caucasian company, but I come to find out it's not. It's us again.
Okay. Let's do it.
And then hopefully I'm probably set up for the week after next to do Sylvia Robinson's label, Sugar Hill Records. That was like really the first hip hop album label of all time.
Yeah. I believe so.
So yeah. So we're gonna go in with Cold Chillin' and then Sugar Hill Records.
Roger that.
All righty then, bro. I guess we can go ahead and wrap this thing on up.
All right. I want to say salute. Everybody do peace, shalom, and happiness.
All right. Much love, bro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to end and conclude the podcast tonight. Hope everybody enjoyed it. No, I did, bro, because a lot of stuff, it's always a learning situation with us. You always got to want to learn, find out things. That way, if somebody asks you something, you can't sit up there and just make up shit. Just tell them I already know and give them the rundown of things that you do know. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Always, please subscribe, share, and subscribe to our channel at DJ Chaos, the Mix Master. You know what I'm saying? Hitting me up on the email side of the game at chaoticdjsmusic@gmail.com. You can follow me on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Halo Jones of Maurice V. King Sr. And always know to never believe the hype. Don't believe the hype on everything that you hear. You know what I'm saying? Find out stuff, research it, and always use common sense as well. You know what I'm saying? Because when you do that, you're going to have folks that's going to hate, because haters are going to hate on you regardless. That's just the way of the world. You didn't have no haters, you would know if you were doing something right or wrong. That's just the way of the world. Anyway, I guess we can go ahead and wrap this thing up, as I say. You know, much love and respect to you guys that are watching tonight. I love the views went down because we was going in pretty good. Much love to you guys. Y'all have a good night. Okay, I'll holler at you later. Deuces.
Nor can we let the government of America off, because the government of the United States of America has proved to be the worst enemy of black people. So now when it comes time for justice, this is not spoken out of hatred or out of bitterness, but reparations have to be given to black people, even as Jews receive reparations from the onslaught of Nazi Germany. And now the Japanese are going to receive reparations for what America did by putting them in concentration camps. What's wrong with the children of slaves? We are here poor, ragged, hungry, naked, and out of doors. Reparations is what we want, and everyone that had a part in our destruction will have a part in paying reparations.